Big game on Sunday. Two teams very close to getting over the line when it comes to their Premier League objectives. West Ham against Manchester United. Toni, as a Man United fan, good recent results against West Ham. 3 of the last 4 games, winning those 1-0. You've got West Ham, who are really, really close to kind of getting themselves out of the relegation wobble that sort of encompassed them sort of during the season. Finally getting close to making their way out of it, and there's been some improved performances. Man United have had such a busy period, but are sort of getting over the line, it seems, week by week. How are you feeling about Man United and the performances? Because it's got to be difficult to not see an element of jadedness when it comes to Man United because of the amount of games that they've played over April.
Oh, well, Man United have been jaded all season. I feel like going out of the Europa League kind of helped them in a sense, where they were playing Thursday, Sunday, and imagine if they were still in the Europa League, they would have somehow had to put a fixture in. Going into this game, I feel like because both teams have ulterior motives, and I feel like West Ham are looking ahead to Thursday. They've got AZ Alkmaar. So they're looking at this game. I feel like they're practically safe, West Ham. I know they're not officially.
It's dangerous, isn't it?
It is dangerous. They're in dangerous territory, but they're not where the other teams are. And I feel like they're better than 3 teams. I know previously West Ham were in this relegation battle, and I was speaking to West Ham fans, and they were like, you know what? I'd rather just win the Europa League and go down to the Championship. It'll be fun. But now I'm thinking with the...
What? I hate when people say that.
Yeah. Well, some people want a trophy.
The Championship's not fun, man.
Again,
Championship's not fun, but...
and you're not guaranteed to go there. Ask Norwich and Watford fans this year.
That is true. But I'm looking at this game, and I feel like West Ham will be thinking about Thursday ahead, and Man United just want to consolidate that top 4 role. So I feel like this just screams a Man United win. I'm not going to say they're going to score a lot of goals, because Man United do not score a lot of goals at all, because they barely have a striker. So this, again, screams like another 1-0 to me.
Yeah. So both teams have been sort of hit by sort of having to make changes. I think that's sort of the starting 11 that we'd want to have out there. Hasn't been the case. Food poisoning at West Ham. They didn't even have a full bench for that game against Man City, and they still put forward a decent effort. Man United, some big changes kind of in that centre-back position, which I think we all would have gone, that could have become something, But Lindelof and Luke Shaw as a centre-back.
Oh.
He's doing a job.
He's doing a job. In this game in particular, if you think of the two of them, first of all, against Villa, in a game where that was tight, really the goal comes from a long punt forward, a head back over the top. Disappointing goal to concede. Not any true creativity from Man United. But Luke Shaw and Lindelof defensively were absolutely superb. 5 clearances, 2 blocks, 4 interceptions, and a clearance off the line from Lindelof. Do you think when it comes to this game, and Antonio coming up against those two, and maybe a lack of physicality between those two, that's going to be a key battle in this one?
What we've seen from Antonio this season has been quite different than the last few seasons. I think last season led West Ham to have this belief that they're a very technical side and they can actually put up a fight against any team. And then I think this season teams have sort of gone, West Ham are a good side, give them the ball. And David Moyes and co have gone, we actually don't really know what to do when we have the ball. And same for Antonio. I think Antonio is one of these guys that keep it in the channels, and he'll really bug your centre-backs and he'll drag you around, and then Jarrod Bowen can profit from going into the box, and Lucas Paqueta's having a good run now. And so I don't actually think they've funneled into his physicality as much as normally what David Moyes would do. Now they're in this relegation dogfight, now is probably the time to go back to what was certainly working before. But also United kind of give you the ball as well, because they don't want the ball either. So in a lot of ways, it's just going to be a bit of a midfield battle. Who can pick the ball up first? Who can hit the forward? And then you've got Rashford obviously on the turn and doing what he does. And Bruno's fit. And whenever Bruno's in the team, he can always create chances. The one thing for me is I saw this stat when West Ham were playing Man City. Don't click away. It's not over yet. We will find a way for West Ham to potentially get some points in this game. But David Moyes has picked up 4 points for a possible 81 in away games against the Big Six as West Ham manager. That is so poor. So yes, Manchester United probably will win this one, but I do think the one massive thing for West Ham can be that if they win this game, they're definitely safe. Then go and focus on Europa League. Forget about Leeds and Leicester. You can throw those games at the end, and then you can go, as you said, go and win the trophy and stay in the Premier League, because the Premier League might be more fun than the Championship.
It feels like a dangerous mindset for both of them, really. And actually, I think they've both been teams that have let you down when you think, oh, okay, this is you now. You know what you're going to get. And then West Ham have been disappointed from that sense all season, despite having some really, really good players. Man United, there's still there's still some of the characteristics from last year where they can kind of lose their way a little bit. So the mindset of this game is going to be really, really important for Man United to sort of get over the line. And playing West Ham, although those last 4 results aren't great and the record against David Moyes is abysmal, I swear in my head I'm like, West Ham always get something against Man United at home. Am I wrong in saying that?
100%. Oh, listen, I'm from East London, so I know. All my West Ham fans will tell me. Right. West Ham always have something for Man United. And I'm looking at this game as well. We were talking about Shaw and Lindelof. I'm a big fan of Shawberto Carlos turning into Shawberto Dini as a centre-back role. And I like it. And obviously we saw they were the only centre-back partnership this season to stop Unai Emery's Aston Villa from scoring. So they've got a decent partnership there. But then again, if you're going up against a striker like Antonio, they lack in physicality, both Shaw and Lindelof, and that's where Antonio thrives. So if there's one way for West Ham that's going to do it, it's going to be with them. Antonio is winning 3.8 duels per 90 this season with a success rate of 40%. So if I'm looking at that and I'm putting that to Shaw and Lindelof, that percentage rate must go a bit higher. Yeah. I feel like that's the way West Ham can win. And as Nubaid said, once they get that win, they're going to be fully focused on Thursday nights because they want to have success in Europe. But, you know, West Ham do have a decent record. I remember the last game at the Boleyn. They beat us as well. And even we barely beat them last time. I remember Mark Noble came on to score a penalty in the last minute and he missed it and we somehow won, but they battered us that game. Yeah. So West Ham will have something for us in the Olympic Stadium, but I feel like Man United will get the job done.
I do think there is probably a Jared Bowen-shaped space down that side because Malacia, he's youthful, he's aggressive, he plays really front-footed, occasionally does switch off. Was it the 2 Tottenham goals where the ball was played behind his side and then cut across the box?
And Sevilla as well.
And Sevilla. So I think that's an area where, although Luke Shaw's getting the job done, I think if United are going to concede a goal, it's down that side. And that's mainly because you can throw balls over the top. And Paqueta's been doing that really well the last few weeks because he is technically so good. I still question why he's gone to West Ham. No disrespect, West Ham fans, but the technical ability he's got in there is keep the angle on me. He's got this ability that he will play balls in behind, and Jared Bowen's form has been picking up. I have got the West Ham Man U results in front of me, and in my mind I was like, "There's no way that's been happening." It actually has been happening. You're not wrong. They've picked up points against United 3 times in the last 5. Which is a very good record, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm pleased you brought up Jared Bowen because I think, look, for me it feels like Man United are kind of churning a little bit over the line. They don't seem to have that exuberance, and I think they've been relying on a lot of players throughout the season. Rashford's not as hot as he was. So Bruno Fernandes and an element of individuality from him. He's created 26 big chances. We've done a video talking about him as the possible next captain for Man United. And if you agree or disagree with that, go check that one out. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts in the comments. I think it's about being resolute from Man United, an element of control when it comes to that midfield, and then a bit of brilliance from the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. That has been Man United's season. But for me, I agree with you. I think Jared Bowen on that right-hand side and a late but a run into the box from Paquetá because he's been given that little bit more freedom. I think it's been one of the themes of the season for West Ham is that you look at that team sheet and that midfield and Rice and Paquetá, you go, surely there's a bit more offensively from these guys. And out of those two, Paquetá should be the one really, really delivering. And I think he's been given that little bit more freedom to get in the box, arrive late. And for a team where you've got Lindelof, who's been solid, but again, he's a squad player. And Luke Shaw, who's not your out-and-out centre-back. Maybe that sort of smelling of those late runs might not be there from those guys. So that could be an interesting one. Bowen down the right-hand side, pulling it back, and maybe there's a goal there for Paquetá. Obviously got a couple of goals recently against Liverpool and Bournemouth. Prediction time. Nubaid, what we say?
Wow, West Ham have to play AZ Alkmaar. If I believe Toni and West Ham fans, they don't mind the Championship. They want to win Europa. That's not good. I'm going to go 1-1.
It stinks of a 1-1.
Yeah,
it absolutely stinks of a 1-1. Do you know what? Just because I might get called out, because I did a video on the relegation battle and I went through all the fixtures, and one that I got a bit of heat for was I thought because of the West Ham always seem to do well against Man United, I had West Ham winning that one. So I'm going to go for West Ham win. I think they might pinch it. Maybe a 2-1 victory for West Ham. But guys, what do you think? Let us know. Get your predictions in the comments down below.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.